Hey guys, I'm Tony Smith, aka Smitty. I'm an active duty service member, mental health advocate, and host of the Man Down podcast. Too many men, especially black men, are told to man up, forcing them to suppress their emotions, leading to isolation, trauma, and even suicide. I know this firsthand. I battled PTSD, survived a life-threatening car accident, and lost many people I care about. But healing is possible. That's why I created Man Down, a movement to help men break free from toxic masculinity, embrace vulnerability, and truly man up by expressing their emotions. Whether you're a veteran, an athlete, or a man struggling in silence, I'm here to help you navigate your mental health journey. So let's heal, grow, and lead together. Follow me and join the movement. Man down, but never out. I'm Smitty, your host, mental health advocate, West Point graduate, and active duty service member. Today, I have the pleasure and honor to introduce you guys to Noah. He's the owner of the Bigfella brand, and we got connected through TikTok, and I've just been inspired by his page. So I asked him to come on the cast and kind of share his insights and journey with us all. So welcome, man.
Yeah, so I'm Noah. I'm 23. I live in Michigan. I got well-known-ish on TikTok from a few years ago. I've been posting on social media for about 4 years now. I'm a full-time weight loss coach. I lost 110 pounds back in 2020, and I've been teaching people how to lose weight, build muscle, and love themselves in a sustainable way. You know, I'm very anti-red pill, very anti-diet culture. You do not need supplements to make fitness progress at all. But I also, I'm about the real stuff. I'm about the deeper impact, and I care about the people that I work with. And the Bigfella brand is kind of the ultimate culmination of that, where I can teach people how to lose their weight, teach people how to love themselves through fitness. But there's a large stigma. I mean, that's what the Man Down podcast is all about. There's a big stigma around even just having a conversation about the mental health. And I work with a lot of guys, and I have a lot of conversations with guys who need sincere, genuine help, and not many men know how to do it. Not many men know how to control their situation or their emotions. And so what the Bigfella brand really stands for is to teach men how to love themselves, teach men how to build that self-respect and that confidence, utilizing fitness as one of those catalysts to do so. Build the muscle, build the body, build the mind, build the spirit, and build a life that you want. So
yeah, mind, body, spirit. I think you hit the nail in the coffin. That's awesome, man. It's really good to connect with you. As a big fellow myself back in the day, it's a little thicker back in my days, being shorter, right? I'm like 5 foot nothing, so I had to, the weight sat differently on me when I was younger. It still does, but I love what you're doing, man, and especially to grow that mind, body, spirit.
I don't know what was going on. We should be good.
We're good.
Okay, there we go.
No, we're good. We're good. Don't worry. We're going to keep running. We're going to keep moving with it. Yeah, man, I love what you're doing, and I think it'll be great I think the message that you have is needed for a lot of men out there. I think we can just kick off with a question. I like to throw a question out there about just like mental health and like kind of what your mental health journey was or is, and what it means to you.
So my mental health journey, I mean, it's interesting because it is obviously a journey, but I view it more as just a relationship with yourself more than anything else. And my journey, I mean, I was overweight the entirety of my life, going into the first 18 years of me being a person. So, walking into life fresh out of high school, hated who I was as a person and didn't love the way I looked. And largely for me, it was tied into my appearance. I was overweight. I'm 6'4", so being 6'4" and 300 pounds, I mean, sometimes you straight up just don't fit in the chair. Sometimes you get treated like you're like, hey, I'm 16, but you get treated like you're 36. So it was something that I didn't particularly love. Yeah. And, obviously, having getting bean dipped or having to wear the shirt in the pool was my reality growing up, And so, yeah. So, and I mean, obviously as an adult, men still struggle with that too. They just stop talking about it and they just throw a Carhartt hoodie on and they call it good. So ultimately, my mental health journey was building a better relationship with myself and teaching myself how to do hard things on purpose. And like I said, my biggest catalyst was fixing my body in my way. When I say fixing my body, I mean building a body that I actually was proud of. And so during 2020, I lost 110 pounds, and that was by far one of the biggest, pivot points in how I viewed myself. It's like being able to laser focus on a goal, and no matter what your emotions are, you still achieve that goal every day. You still do what you need to do. You still pay your rent. You still pay your dues. That's the biggest shift that I felt during that weight loss journey. And from there, it was just about collecting proof of me being who I say I am. And Alex Hormozy, I'm not sure if you're familiar, he talks a lot about this. Really great business advice. Confidence comes from evidence. Build proof that you are who you say you are. If you don't have enough proof, then go start stacking proof. That's what you're the business of doing. And so that was really how my journey transformed. Is I'm gonna continue to stack proof and say, not just talk about it, but be about it. I'm not gonna talk about anything unless I intend on finishing it. And that was the biggest shift for me, is once I taught myself that I can finish a journey that I never thought I could, losing the 100 pounds, it really allowed me to propel into other things like starting my own business and posting on social media, which, by the way, was not plan A, but here we are.
Popped off, man. I totally agree with that, man. I think the biggest thing, I love how it's like, you kind of standing on that business. Hey, you want to do something, but where's your evidence, right? What are you doing, like, kind of behind the scenes? And I think that is something that transformed with me within the past year. Is, hey, like I'm saying, I'm wanting to do these things. I have all these goals down. I can give the best advice to anyone and everyone, right? I can give relationship advice, and I'm not even in a relationship, But where's my evidence? Like, what am I doing for myself? So I do definitely, like, concur with that. And I think that's awesome, man. Like, you've got 100 plus pounds, man, is legendary. I think the most I weighed was like probably around like the 230 like ranges, but I had to like fluctuate because of sports and stuff. But hats off to you, man. Like, I think that's not a lot of people can do that and keep it off. So love to answer that question. Another question I have for you is kind of for like the other men. Like, say like this is you to other men out there that are maybe struggling in silence, or maybe are overweight. Like, what you kind of say to your clients to kind of bring them on and kind of, I know it's anyone can start a goal, or anyone can like start something for like a week or two, but then like kind of fall off. But like, what's your like daily kind of like motivation, or what do you say to your clients, or what do you have to say to men if they're like struggling in silence or don't know where to go?
You become what you think about most of the time. And once you can actually see that come into fruition, and it's one thing to hear something, it's another thing to understand it. And you can hear it, you can read it in a book, but until you see that actually become reality, either with you doing it or somebody else doing it, it's the truth. My dad was the first person to kind of say that to me. There's a real old, and like I'm talking like 1950s, 1960s clip out there. A gentleman named Earl Nightingale. He did a talk, and my dad sent me the video years ago, and I watched it, and that's what he says. You become what you think about most of the time. And I tie this very deeply when I'm talking to my clients, or talking to people in content. Like, how you speak to yourself genuinely matters. And a lot of people think it's like cringy daily affirmations, like, I am beautiful, like, that's cool and all, but it's not going to work for most guys. But you have to do it in a different way. And, men are very mission oriented. And the biggest thing that I found is you have to have absolute 100% crystal clear direction on where you want to go, right? You can sit here and be sad and sorry for yourself 24/7. Figure out what it is you want to accomplish. If you want to lose the weight, build the muscle, make more money, build a business, whatever your goal is, you have to have 100% unadulterated clarity as to where you want to go, and you have to put your mind like you already have it. And starting there, having that fully aligned direction is really what it's all about. Because a lot of the people that I speak to, and I'm sure you can relate to this, sweeping your wins under the rug is a super common thing for guys. It's like, oh, I made an achievement, but I'm not going to talk about it, and it doesn't deserve to be spoken about because that's what I'm expected to do. I'm expected to provide. I'm expected to do all these things. So if you're constantly not acknowledging your wins, what does that leave you? Ruminating and consistently obsessing over how much you aren't, all of your losses, all of your failures. And then you see social media, it's all the highlight reel. So if you see everyone else's highlights and all you're thinking about is your lowlights, you're effed. I mean, that's what it is. So you have to control your self-talk, and you have to learn how to celebrate your own wins and give yourself that direction. If you know why you want to change, where you want to change to, and you speak to yourself and talk to yourself the way you want to put yourself in your mental state in the future. Like if I want to be a successful multimillionaire business owner, I have to start thinking and acting like one now. I'm going to become what I think about most of the time.
You got me ready to run into a wall, bro. Let's go to war. Let's go to war. Now I'm saying, bro, I felt that because I think those are like some of the things that sometimes I have to tell to my soldiers, but I agree, like that self-talk. Like my sports psychologist taught me that. It's this non-judgmental, positive self-talk. What are you telling yourself? Like me, I used to have a real bad issue with social media, right? I always compare myself. Comparison's a thief of joy. I remember like a big quote that's important to me. It's like, your journey is way different than everyone else's journey. Your journey at 6'4" is going to be a different journey than me, at 5'6". You're in Michigan, I'm in Texas. We lived a way different life, right? But I always had my eyes on other people. But when it came down to like focus on myself, I was like, well, I don't know how to love myself, take care of myself, or do I even know myself? But I agree, like, because that ruminating, like you said, that ruminating will get you, especially at the 3 a.m.s, the 4 a.m.s. That's when the demons come. And I could not agree with you anymore, man, about just that talk to yourself and setting those goals. And I think another thing that helped me, because I was diagnosed with like PTSD, like through the Army. And I didn't know about it until 3 months ago. So, right, I'm in friendships, I was in prior relationships, I'm in a job, not knowing that I've got like this like PTSD. And so as soon as I really identified it, I was able to attack the trauma that was like giving me that, issue. So, I meet with a therapist, but I think a lot of the stuff I've really been working with is like a coach and like the sports psychologist. Because that's when I can learn things in therapy. Like I can learn all the things, but when I get to the action of it, like you said, like what are my goals? Like what am I doing to achieve the goals? Or am I just being sorry for myself and ruminating and being like,
definitely that victim mentality is where a lot of people get stuck in. And when you talked about, I'm happy you got diagnosed. I'm sorry that you have it, but I'm happy that you got diagnosed and gained that clarity. Something that I say to a lot of my clients, I'm very big on raising your own self-awareness. Obviously, there's pros and cons to that. You can always be too self-aware, right? Right. Then it gets a little
too aware. You start.
But what I always say is you have to have your why, you have to find your how, and you have to give yourself the first steps forward, and you got to stop treating yourself like shit. So your why is why do you want to change, right? Why does Tony want to start this podcast, right? Those are questions that need to be answered before you start a journey. If you have a why, some people say, like, for example, I'm in the weight loss, I'm in the fitness space for a lot of what I do. What's your why to lose 30 pounds? Oh, I just want to look better at the beach. Okay, that's cool. That's weak sauce, right? I work with people that need to lose 50 plus pounds, 100 plus pounds. What I found, if you really want to build a successful lifestyle change, you have to find something that does touch a little bit deeper, right? It's usually tied to either some level of trauma or some level of itch left unscratched at childhood. So for me, I was 300 pounds. I was the heavy kid growing up. Every day I existed as a child, I was heavy. So I never got to live. I mean, obviously it's a me issue, it's a skill issue, but I didn't like how I looked. And I never got to live a day in my life as a kid liking how my body looked. So that was my why. And then I say the how. I talk about slaying your dragon, okay? Every hero's journey, there's a dragon that they're going to need to slay. What were the habits that got us here? What dragon do we need to slay first? What's the problem numero uno? For you, one of yours is PTSD. Like, you just found out. You got it. Now you identified it. Now you can start addressing it. But you weren't able to address it until you had it in front of you. And then once that happens, then you can just, like we said earlier, stop treating yourself like a piece of shit. Sorry if we're not allowed to cuss on here. I apologize. And then, okay, sick.
No, we are.
Sick. Okay.
Full game,
okay.
cuss.
Right.
This is real,
But
man.
if you see treating yourself like a piece of garbage and comparing yourself, then you're going to stuck in that analysis paralysis and never make any fucking progress.
But you're cooking, man. I'm glad. See, look, I knew. See, look, the universe brought me here. You know what I'm saying, dude? I honestly really appreciate you, and I have like some more questions, but like you're just cooking. Like you're a lot of the things I was gonna ask you, you've already answered. But I would love to like kind of give you a moment of just kind of like a message you have, you know, to viewers, a message you have to people that are curious about your brand, and just a message to like men, like in general, about like, I think you hit on it a little bit earlier, but just like if they're stuck, right? If they're stuck, whether it be fitness, whether it be like mentally, relationship, right? You have, what, 6 years? You just hit your 6-year mark, so you've hit a successful like 6-year like relationship mark, right?
Yeah.
Obviously with its ups and downs, but anything you have that, you know, could like inspire like another man or even like anyone, any viewer that's watching.
Well, I would say lead with intention. I mean, there's a lot of people that are alive, but they're not really living. And a lot of that ties into being addicted to your phone or just caring way too much about other people's opinions. And I know it's very cliche advice, but I'm going to be honest. All the cheesy cliche advice is never fucking wrong. It's never wrong. I don't care how many times you hear it. There's a reason it's cliche. There's a reason you've been hearing it since you were a kid, right? So when you stop giving a shit about what other people think and you give yourself permission to better your own life, and you realize bettering yourself and making space for you is not selfish, it's required. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And the further you stretch yourself out, the worse you are going to perform, and the more likely something's going to fucking break. And that's when stuff gets really, really, really ugly. So if you're not carving out some sort of flow or stillness for you, flow can be, like, I'm a big hooper. I love basketball. So whenever I'm having a bad day, if I go play basketball, my day is instantly better. I'm not thinking when I'm playing basketball. A lot of this problems can be summarized in one simple sentence. You're thinking too much. You're thinking way too fucking much. Go do. Right? Tony and I were talking about this before the podcast started. He's been planning this and had this running for the last 6 months, but he's only posted a couple episodes so far. That's changed, thank goodness, right? We got to get the message out there, but he was thinking too much. I went through, I could literally talk about it for years, how many times I overthought and drove myself into genuine burnout several times, whether it was about the business or about my content or about whatever. As soon as I stopped thinking too much about the content I posted and started being my most authentic self and posting content I liked, Tony found me through this account. I gained 30,000 followers in a week. And now, obviously, that's not going to work. That's not how it's going to, go for everybody. Obviously.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
Well, I follow this.
It would come from me if you don't get those results. But at the end of the day, you're thinking too much about other people. Those who mind don't matter. Those who matter won't mind. Creating space for yourself is a requirement for improving your life.
Dude, I do really appreciate you. It's crazy. I'm not sure if like you religious, spiritual, or anything like that, but God works in mysterious ways, and He connects. I believe that He connects people for a purpose, on purpose, and this is a message that I personally needed. Obviously, with a lot of things going on, and again, like you got me ready to I'm ready to send me back to war. Just kidding, I'm getting out. But I do appreciate you, man. And to all the listeners, I'm gonna pin your kind of social media when we do push the episode out. But please go shoot him a follow. He's got some great content that pushes out there. And he also, if you're a man that, is struggling with their, weight loss journey or anything like in general, this is your man to go to. I believe that I'm inspired, right? And I do kind of the same stuff, but a lot of the stuff I'll do is I'm pursuing kind of like, mental health counseling. I want to get into that field and really help, but I think a coach and with fitness stuff is even better. So I do appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. So we're going to hit you with the outro real quick. We always do this online when we go on live, and I didn't do it on my last podcast, but I'm going to do it here. This is an organization. This isn't a cult. This is a family, right? We spread love, not hate, right? We elevate and don't discriminate, right? We educate and celebrate because that is our faith. We listen and we don't judge. We take accountability, ownership, and we stand on business. And I think to total out this whole interview and everything like that, it's all about standing on business. He said it. You said it in all your words, but it's at the end of the day, we got to stand on business on who you are. Like you say, like whatever you want to become, like just do, right? I can, like you said, I struggled for 6 months because I'm a perfectionist. I'm going to do all this other stuff. And I'll just do. So thank you again, man. And I appreciate your time, and I can't wait to have further, conversations and continue this relationship, man. I feel like we are similar in our own likes, man. And
likewise, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on. And just remember, you're either going to do it imperfectly or you're not going to do it at all.